You mean our show?
You're live.
Yes.
Hush.
Oh, we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live review of a movie that everybody is waiting for. We're talking, you guessed it, if you read what's right in front of you, it's Star Wars Solo.
You're after something. Is it revenge? Money? Or is it something else? You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job. Big shot gangster putting together crew.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this.
What do you think? Well, what do you know?
Well, we're going to tell you what we think. And of course, I want to point out, if you're watching this now, this is a spoiler-free review. So we're not going to spoil anything. And joining me from Las Vegas, Nevada, the man, you know him, you love him, Jeff Howard. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm not allowed to mention that Han Solo dies in this movie? Or?
Hey, hush, 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 be quiet, be quiet.
Oh, wait, that's a different movie. That's a different movie.
Be quiet right now. Also joining us, now this is a privilege because you know him as well, and you love him twice as much. Greg Russell from Detroit.
Hello, Chuck. Hello, Jeff. Glad to be here with you both.
Hey, Greg, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I wanted you guys, did you notice the original Star Wars circular going back and forth between the scenes? Mm-hmm. I thought you would like that. I love that old original, how they would do the clock wipe, and I thought we would add that to the show. Now,
I was trying to figure out the music you had. It sounded like it was like from the old video game from the early 80s, the music.
Yeah, that was actually the famous Star Wars on a calculator. I thought I would do that because, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Now, a man who can speak better than I can, because honestly I shouldn't be speaking at all, is Jeff Howard. And Jeff is going to actually give us a brief synopsis of what's to expect when you walk into the theater. Take it away, Jeff.
Well, this is something that's really exciting for Star Wars fans. It's an origin story, meaning that we get to find out how Han Solo became a smuggler, his early background, his love affairs, how he met Chewbacca, and some of the things like in the original Star Wars where they were just these really bizarre statements that these little lines that would come out that people wouldn't know, like the Kessel Run or all these kind of weird things. Now they have a whole backstory for this movie. So this is really exciting to find out how our favorite characters evolved, met each other, and go on this incredible adventure. I mean, it's that simple.
Now, one of the things, too, is our favorite characters. We get to see how Han and Lando meet for the first time.
You see, how'd you guys let me beat you on that one? Come on. There's no liars in this game, just players.
The seat taken? Nobody's in the seat that I ain't taking, friend.
So this is, Sabak?
Sabak.
Sabak. Got it.
You played before?
A couple times, yeah.
Captain Lando Calrissian.
Han Solo.
Looks like you're having a good day.
I'm a lucky guy.
Can I ask you a question, Captain Calrissian?
Anything, Han?
It's Han, but that's okay. I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Now, Jeff, I've heard a lot of stories about you, and I want to know if they're all true. If we can start going over there. The stories of Greg Russell are, of course, legendary. But what did you guys think of that scene the first time they met?
I thought it was very interesting. I mean,
Greg?
I said I thought it was a very interesting thing, and especially with Donald Glover, they had him where his voice was sounding like Billy D. Williams. So you kind of got, the old Lando, coming through, which was great. And like you said, it is neat, like Jeff said, to find out, how most of these stories get started. Like you said, the Kessel Run, even how Han got his name. So, I mean, that, like you said, is just something fascinating. Also, just want to let people know, like we said, this is a Star Wars story and not a Star Wars movie. So, I mean, they've got battles, but it's not going to be as epic as what we normally see in a Star Wars movie.
Now, Jeff, what did you think of that?
Well, I thought it was good enough that Lando gets his own pop figure right here. So, and then I got the one. This is exclusive to Hot Topic. My buddy Raul got it for me. He's wearing his little cape in there. And it's funny that the writers, Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, and along with his son wrote the Han Solo movie, and they made Lando pansexual. I just thought that was really bizarre because I thought throughout the whole movie he came across just like he needed a bottle of Hennessy and some oils. I mean, he just came across so sexy and so smooth, right? But
Right.
I didn't see his love interest was a robot, was L7, I think. It was just
that's
really
right.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, we instead of interracial, we have intertechnology, maybe. I don't know, something like that. But I think the way they met, we always heard of, that there was a poker game and how he won the Millennium Falcon and all these things that you heard throughout Star Wars kind of legend over the last 30, 40 years. And I think the way they met, you wanted them to warm up to each other because they're not friends right away. I mean, Lando doesn't trust him whatsoever because he's a scoundrel just like Han Solo. But Han Solo is a scoundrel in the making.
Now, what did you think? This is an origin story, though. I mean, we all had in our mind, or maybe if you read fan fiction or something about how this all started off. I mean, what did you think, Jeff?
Well, I thought, honestly, that the movie really took its time to get going. And I mean, the movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm not upset about the length of the movie. I love as much Star Wars as you can get. I just wish the movie the second half really picked up. But I think in terms of an origin story, this thing could have gone anywhere, and it did. I mean, that's what was exciting about this movie is that we're not picking up after a story that already happened. So in terms of being an origin, you could do anything you want, and to show Han Solo to come from essentially a slave planet, or just a planet where you can't get any kind of upward economic or job mobility. It's about escaping. So it's a very kind of an immigrant. It's kind of comments on our current political climate about immigration and about how trying to better yourself. So I thought it was really interesting how they included something like that. I saw all kind of the hinted messages in this movie.
Now, Greg, I know you're a huge Star Wars fan. How psyched were you to see this movie?
Oh, very much. Very psyched. Because like you said, I've been in love with the series since 1977. And like you said, we had always received hints on where Han came from, how he got to be what he was, doing as far as the smuggler and all like that. So, yeah, it was just kind of, nice just to see, okay, this is how it got going. Oh, and this is, like you said, how he and Lando became friends. Also, how he wound up getting the Millennium Falcon. And I take it the young man who plays him in the movie, you can tell that they had him watch a lot of the old movies from the 1970s because he's even doing like Harrison Ford facial expressions, on during some of the conversations with a nice little smile and all like that. And say, oh, that was Harrison.
Because if you close your eyes, you can almost see a young Harrison Ford with that voice.
Right. So, like I said,
and
good
I think
casting as well. Right.
Casting was essential in this movie, and even though I like Alden Ehrenreich a lot, I thought he looked the part. I just wish his voice was a little deeper, because at times, his delivery, it just, I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie, but I just wish that he was a little bit more reserved. You know, I just wanted to see more of that kind of that swashbuckling swagger, that sophistication. I don't know if that just comes later on when Han Solo's in the cantina in the original Star Wars.
Right.
But I just wish there was a little bit more of like you could look behind his eyes and see something else. He kind of played it to a lot of comedy, and I thought sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't.
Now, Greg, what did you think of? We got some new characters here. We had Beckett played by Woody Harrelson. What did you think of that character?
Well, I just love Woody. Period. I mean, he's truly turned out to be one of the best actors, of our period here. He did a good job, and because with his character, half the time you don't know, is he good? Is he bad? Is he on, Han's side? Is he on another side? So he always kind of kept you guessing. And like I said, Woody just now always puts on, great performances. So I love seeing it.
Yeah, and good or bad, Han Solo, come on, who shot first? Who is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? They continually tried to mess with that. Jeff, did you have any problems with the new character Beckett?
Absolutely not. I think Woody Harrelson's one of my all-time favorite actors, and what I loved about his character is that he was selfish. Okay, he was a scoundrel. He was a smuggler. He was hired by Paul Bettany's character, who plays this criminal overlord to steal some sort of energy source, and he repeats throughout the entire film for his crew and for Han Solo, who joins his gang. He's like, "Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody." So you're right, Greg. You're always trying to figure out if he does kind of do a double cross or multiple double crosses. You're really not surprised about it, and I think that he just brought this sophistication to the movie that was his acting is unbelievable.
Now, Greg, the mother of dragons, is in this movie as the love interest. I believe her name is Kurira? Kurira? I can't even pronounce it. What did we think of this love interest / is she good, is she bad type of a character?
And you're absolutely right on that, Chuck, because half the way, most part of the movie, you're trying to figure out, is she good? Is she going to double cross him or whatever? But, she just has this great look. And, and the actress who portrays her, I mean, just great performance there. But you're absolutely right. It is like, okay, at the end, is she going to save him or is she going to let him go? But you got to see the movie tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, I loved Emilia Clarke. She was the main draw for me to see this movie. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think she was the main draw. Do you think so? Is it because of her? I thought the main draw
was... the main
was...
draw for me.
For him.
For you. Yes,
him.
Absolutely.
Him.
I think what I noticed about this film, and because I'm a Western fanatic, this is a space Western. Because we rob a train, we rob a bank vault. There's poker games. Han spins his guns and Woody Harrelson spins his blasters, just like a 6-shooter. So I'm watching this entire film. I'm like, wow, this is a space Western. So when you start thinking of it in that context, the characters all kind of play these classic Western stereotypes, and that's a good thing. And I think my favorite character, though, believe it or not, is L7, which is this robot that's
L3
hanging out
or L7?
Is it L7 or L3?
I think it's
Good
L3.
Lord,
I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh, L7's is that a band maybe?
I don't know. I
boy
wrote
band,
L7.
yeah.
Maybe
L7.
I got to see it again. I saw it days ago. I got to see it. Anyway, that walking, talking, smart aleck computer who's not only a female and also Lando's kind of right-hand partner in crime. She absolutely, again, girl power, empowerment. She saves the day multiple times. She's tough. She walks into battles, and I just love that character because it usually is a breakout character in the movie. And L3/L7. I'm sorry, gosh, somebody Google this. Where's my phone?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was L3. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Could be.
Now, guys, we've seen this director before. He came in. I guess there was some trouble. We saw Ron Howard come into the mix here and take over this project. What do you guys think? What movies of Ron Howard, Jeff, do you think got him ready for Solo?
I think Apollo 13. I'm thinking, it's a space movie. You have all these characters that are in the ship in close quarters and how to shoot something like that. And This movie's been plagued with controversy since day one. I mean, they fired the original directors, they brought Ron Howard on board. There was all kinds of bad press around this, from the story, from the onset antics that were going on, and people were always thinking, how can Ron Howard be named the director when he really came in when 75% of the movie was already shot? And I found this great YouTube video about exactly how all of the union rules work. Okay, so that's why Kathleen Kennedy fired the original directors, because if they do 80% or more, they get final cut, they get all the say so on the editing and all the promotion and all that. So they fired them at the very last second they could. So as I was watching this movie, I was trying to figure out exactly where was Ron Howard's style, what was he responsible for, because most of the movie was already shot. They came in and did some pickups and some fixing, and also some test screenings that they had to go back and do some stuff. But I just thought that Ron Howard came in to save the day, but I just didn't know where that style was. Does that make sense? Is it?
Yeah. Greg, what movie do you think inspired or got him ready to direct this movie Solo?
Well, I agree with Jeff, about Apollo 13, because like you said, out in space, getting things set that way. Or there was a movie he did back in the day called Leo and Laurie. You remember that one, Jeff?
I do, yes.
Yeah, Donnie Most and Linda Pearl. No, that's actually one of my favorite Ron Howard movies, one of his first directing jobs. But no, like you said, definitely Apollo 13.
Well, you're both wrong, because here is the answer.
But I think that the movie Willow was probably the best preparation that I had for making this movie. Technology has made the whole process, frankly, a lot easier. It's easier to fulfill your ambitions and your dreams and to get things done. And I was grateful for all the experiences that I've had. I guess this is my 25th feature, I think. And so all of those experiences certainly factored into the work at hand when it came to making this movie. I'd say the other movie that influenced it, interestingly, was Rush, a true story about Formula One race drivers from the 70s. And because this movie had a kind of 70s feel and that sense of speed and daring and that recklessness that Formula One racers kind of have, particularly the James Hunt character played by Chris Hemsworth, I felt a kind of connection between Han and James Hunt, and also between a great speed machine like a Formula One race car and the Millennium Falcon. And so I tried to use a little bit of what I thought I learned from Rush and apply it to Solo.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's your answer right there.
So we get no prize.
No prize. Loser. Okay, guys, it's about time to wrap this up. I think we got a caller on hold with some video problems. We'll get to them in a second. But Jeff, we'll start with you. Thoughts? What do you rate Solo?
I rate Solo a B, and even though it's not great, but it's really good, because I still have a problem with the first hour of the movie being so god-awful slow, but the second half and the third act of the movie really pick up with some great action and with some great interaction with the characters. They set a lot of things up, but I thought the first hour was too slow. It's definitely, a Star Wars film, and and real quick, I love Chewbacca in this, because anyone who knows me, I hate Chewbacca and anything. I just don't like that character. I never have. But he really has this camaraderie with Han Solo that is some of the best bonding of those two characters. So and it's a new actor, Jonas Sutamaro, who's really like that tall, So I just thought that Chewbacca and Han Solo had this great chemistry in the movie. But you know what? I'm seeing it again tonight. I need to see it again. But overall, it was a good time. It really was.
All right, now Greg, what do you think?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I agree with Jeff. I mean, it was an entertaining movie to see. Like you said, just great to find out, Han's backstory, the action that was going on there. Plus, I mean, like you said, not to give anything away, there are also some special appearances that you'll see in this movie, and you'll be going, oh
yeah,
that's fascinating. So, just be on the lookout for that too. But yeah, it'll be worth the money that the people do go out and spend, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, because like we said, you'll just kick back, you'll enjoy, and, have fun.
All right, guys, I'm sorry. Didn't like it. I did not like this movie. I thought, and here's the problem that I had. I was bored. I didn't care. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Do you remember in the last Star Wars movies when the Millennium Falcon rose up? Do you remember how your heart raced and you went, oh, and then there was like 3 or 4 moments that just totally like tipped over the movie from being just a good movie to being a great movie, or you got that rush? I never got it here. I didn't. I loved Lando. I loved the robot L3, L7, as Jeff was saying, whatever it is, the robot.
It's
I'm
L3.
going to look it up.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It's L3.
It's L3.
Okay,
So
good.
Never doubt the movie guy. But I didn't care for it. I was bored. I never had any of those uplifting moments. Chewbacca, there was a couple. There was a couple here and there. But for the most part, I was like, ooh, Chewbacca is kind of mean in some, you know what I mean?
I don't like when they steal from other Star Wars films. So
Yeah.
when we were inside that nebula or whatever, trying to make that Kessel Run that they have in the movie, they were playing the asteroid field from Empire Strikes Back. And I just didn't like that. I didn't think it was homage or a tribute to it. I thought it was just plain old piracy. Even though John Williams came back to do the Han Solo theme, I think he said that was the last thing he's ever going to do for Star Wars. But to use the asteroid field from Empire, I was like, come on.
Okay, guys, we got a caller, and unfortunately, I think she needs to turn her video phone sideways, but it looks like she's on the new iPhone 10, which is not compatible with our system right now. They're working on the bugs. Let me see if we should be able to hear her, though. Hello, are you there?
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, you know who this is, guys? This is friend of Carrie Keegan, Beth. She's the R2D2 of hip-hop. She's a big writer and producer in Los Angeles. Beth, you should have been on a computer or an older iPhone. Shame on you for having the latest in technology.
You know what? If I wasn't going to come in here and disrupt the party, what else was I going to do?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, Beth, do you have any questions for us, or are you just here to plug Carrie's book?
Well, first of all, if you guys haven't picked it up, pick up Gary's book. And then also, I'm just hearing you guys, I'm a little sad already. I was so pumped. And I hope that this is a little bit more exciting than you've made it sound.
You just heard Chuck's last few words. Don't.
Oh, that's right. I actually just keyed her in at the last minute, but she came in late.
Whatever. As long as it hits my main 3 points. I want to see Han be a sassy, badass flyboy. I want Lando to charm my pants off. And I want to see Chewie's family. And as long as I get those 3, I think I'm going to be really stoked.
You see 2 out of the 3.
Yeah. Without spoiling anything.
All right.
I will spoil one thing. There's no Boba Fett here, so.
Oh.
I know. Well, but anyhow, Beth, thanks for calling in. Buy Carrie's book. It's called Everybody's Curses, I Swear. And if you don't know who Carrie Keegan is, look her up at carriekeegan.com. Carrie couldn't make it today. She was prepping for one of those giant video shoots that she does.
Yeah, sorry guys, you got Carrie light today.
All right, Beth, thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. See you guys later. Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care, Beth.
Hey,
Bye.
See you.
Now,
Chuck.
yeah.
That's what's great about these origin stories. You can bring back characters that have died, like Boba Fett, who died or people who were in the original stories. So that's what's so exciting. Like Greg was saying, you see some pop-ups in this movie because we're going back, 30, 40 years to the way before the Star Wars films we saw. So that gives writers and producers and directors just to have so much fun with this. And I know which cameo you're talking about. It's towards the end of the film that I'm just like, no way, So it's just like we saw Brad Pitt in Deadpool 2 as his cameo. It's been 2 weeks. If you haven't seen it, tough. But that's what was really exciting about that, is to see some of these characters that could just pop up in here because it's the early days.
Now, in recap, Jeff, I think you liked it the best, correct? And then followed by Greg and me, who actually didn't care for it.
Shame on you.
Well, it needed to be more uplifting, more exciting. I didn't care about an origin story. I just wanted action.
What?
I wanted comedy, which there was a little bit, but I just never cared about any of these characters. So
I think we already knew them and we already cared. I think that was the whole point.
Okay.
You know, so I just had to say, how'd they start? You know, I think that was a great idea. Like I said, L3 was the best new character in the whole movie, and the action was great too. Like I said, it's a space western. The whole train sequence, that was so incredible. You know, that was really cool. And then also the bank vault thing. You know, they have to break into this vault, and you know, so it was a lot of fun. It really was. And Chuck, I think next time just keep your eyes open. I think you'll enjoy it better.
All right. Well, you know, and I've generally tried to find something good about every movie I see, but I was just bored. I was bored. So anyhow, thanks a lot, and we look forward to seeing you on a next live review. You can call in and speak to us. Yell at me if you want. I'm surprised people aren't calling in to scream at me right now, but you know.
We gotta plug our sites, Chuck.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jeff Howard, go for it. Where are you from?
VegasFilmCritic.com. You can see all of my portals on my social media, YouTube, all my movie reviews and interviews, and VegasFilmCritic.com. That's it.
Greg Russell, Detroit.
And for me, you can go to movieshowplus.com. That's our show's website. Also, click on Detroit.com, which is the NBC station here in Detroit. All my stuff's up there as well.
All right, guys. I thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you about, you know what's coming up, Jurassic Park.
Whoa! All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chuck.